This is great. This is great. This is great. And first of all, welcome back to the channel, Accountrepreneur Sales. Check us out at Universal Accounting Center if you truly want to grow your firm or build a firm, right? Hey, like and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about micro skills, the micro skills of sales. And to me, I think this is the most important thing. Most salespeople lose deals for reasons they never even notice, right? And I think the core things that people think, oh, I missed the deal because of objections, closing techniques, scripts, follow-up. Well, guys, maybe that's 20% of the game. The top performers are masters of micro skills. Micro skills are tiny behaviors that happen every few seconds during a conversation. All right? One great question can change a deal. One word can change a deal. One pause, even one pause, after making an impactful statement or leaving them with a beautiful opening question, the answer to the pause is always going to be beautiful. The tonality shift, right? All of it. So we're going to go deep today. We're going to have some fun. Hey, skill number one. I want you to write this down. I'm going to teach you. How many micro skills are we going over today? 15. Forgot how many I wrote down. 15 micro skills today. 15 micro skills to make you the deadliest salesman in the world. All right, look. Skill number one, the pause, all right? Most salespeople, especially accountants, talk way too much on the phone. You want to be an elite pro. I need you to pause, all right? Pause creates pressure. A pause creates thought. A pause forces honesty. Let me show you an example here. A prospect, okay? I don't know if now is the right time. Well, what's a bad salesperson do? They say, what do you mean? Well, let me explain our payment options and why now is actually a good time. Because, guys, they're rescuing the prospect, okay? Instead, I don't know if now is the right time. You, tell me more. And then pause. The silence forces them deeper. Often they'll reveal the real objection, okay? Tell me more. How do you mean? Talk to me about that. Those are all things you can say to get them to talk more. All right, labeling. All right, labeling is skill number two. Okay, so labeling. This is taught by, I actually learned this from Chris Voss. I believe he's ex-FBI or CIA. Anyways, Chris Voss, look him up on YouTube. So one thing that he really teaches and I've implemented and known about it, I just never gave it much thought, would be labeling. Okay, labeling. So that's why I want to talk about it today. Instead of disagreeing, label. That simple. Hey, it sounds like you're worried about making the wrong decision. It sounds like you've been burned before. It sounds like you're trying to protect your family. It sounds like you're overwhelmed. People feel understood, okay? Humans buy from people who understand them, not people who sell and tell, not people who lecture them, not people who sell the features and benefits of their tax or accounting. Boom! Big difference, all right? Let's move to skill number three. Tone stacking. Hey, words matter, but understand that your tonality matters more. Your tone is everything. The same sentence can mean three different things. Okay, just think about this. A question tone. All right. Hey, why do you want that? Okay. Question tone. Or I guess that's more of a curious tone. Hey, I'm curious. Why do you want that? That's more of a curious tone. A question tone would be, hey, so tell me, why do you want that? Right? That's the difference. Okay, that's the difference. A challenging tone would be, John, that doesn't make any sense. Can you tell me why you want that? That's a challenging tone. Those are different things, okay? Master salespeople can manipulate tone intentionally. Hey, John, how you doing today? Right? Get them excited. Sales is transfer motion. You want to be a little bit above them, but not nothing crazy. It's not random, okay? And you got to practice your tone, right? If you want to. And what's that going to be like if we don't change anything over the next 12 months? All right. Oh, let's move to skill number four. Skill number four, the second question. What does that even mean, right? Most salespeople say, what got you interested in bookkeeping? The prospect answers, right? The rep moves on. That's what happens most of the time. Here's what an elite rep does. What got you interested in bookkeeping? Prospect answers. Then the rep asks, well, that's interesting. Why is that important to you? Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. The second question finds motivation. The first question finds information. All right, let's move to skill number five. Skill number five, emotional echoing. Well, let me show you what that kind of sounds like, okay? A prospect's going to say, well, I've always wanted my own business. Most reps ignore that. The closer amplifies it, all right? You've always wanted your own business? The prospect says, yeah, ever since I was younger. Boom. All right, now emotion expands and people buy emotionally. Micro skill, but huge impact. All right, let's move to skill number 6. Skill number 6. What is that? Sace, I think. I don't know. Ha! That's why I speak English first. All right, skill number 6. Listen for future language. Listen for future language. Prospects tell you how to sell them all the time. It's the silliest thing in the world. I hear it all the time, and my sales reps miss it because they're all so focused on what they want to say next. But that's why we train them and coach them, right? And now some of them that really apply it, boy, they're so much different. Dangerous, as we say. Dangerous. So the prospects will always tell you how to sell them. Examples, they say things like, I want more freedom, I want more flexibility. It's driving me crazy at night thinking about this. My wife says I'm never home at night. Those kinds of things. I want more money. Or write it down. Later, hey, earlier you mentioned freedom was important to you. You mentioned flexibility was important. You mentioned you wanted to stop answering to a boss, right? Now you're selling their dream, not your product. So that might be for a program right there, but you just got to shift the concept for whatever industry you're in. So let's look at skill number 7. I call this the 3-second rule. I'm sure you've heard of it before, right? Drop your food, pick it up, 3 seconds, eat it. Well, that's disgusting. Hopefully you don't do that. But here's the thing, skill number 7. Prospect finishes talking, okay? Most salespeople jump in immediately. I want you to wait 3 seconds. 1, 2, and 3. Many prospects continue talking, and what comes next is often gold. The truth will usually come after the first answer. Skill number 8, finding the root pain. Obviously, if you follow my channel, I'm all about pain because pain is what drives change. So surface level problems, you'll hear I need more clients. Well, the real problem actually is I'm worried I don't make enough money. The deeper problem is I'm scared I'll fail. The deeper problem, I need to prove to myself I can do this. Sales happens at the deepest level, not the surface level. So you need to keep digging. Confirm and expand so that you can better understand. I need to confirm and expand so that I can better understand. Download the data, use it against them. It's easy. All right? Tailor your presentation, sell the outcome of that being solved. Right? It's common sense. All right, skill number 9, assumptive language, all right? Most salespeople say if you decide to move forward, okay? Well, how about a better answer? Let's get you started today. When we get you started today. If this works, replace it with when this works. If you become successful, replace it with when you become successful. So it's tiny wording changes, but they have a massive psychological impact. All right, so it's your wordplay that you have to get better at. All right, skill number 10, energy matching. All right, one thing even myself I got to always work on is stop trying to dominate every conversation. Stop trying to dominate every conversation. Hey, why don't you match them a little bit first, right? And lead second, right? You got a fast prospect, be faster. You got an analytical prospect, slow down. You got an emotional prospect, be warmer, right? People trust people who remind them of themselves. They remind me of myself. That's why I want to buy from them. Let's look at skill number 11, isolating objections, okay? You hear, I need to think about it, and you probably say, okay, sounds good. I know you need to think about it, right? Well, other than thinking about it, is there anything else holding you back? Come on, baby. Just gotta say it. Other than thinking about it, is there anything else holding you back? What do you mean? Right? You really want to think about your business leaking money? You really want to think about not making an extra 20 grand a year for using my advisor? Like, what are we talking about? All right? Not whether it's money, spouse, timing, trust, or fear. You can't solve what you haven't identified. I can't solve what I haven't identified. I'm just pitching right now to a wall, basically. I don't even know what they want. It's crazy stuff. All right, future pacing. I don't know the problem, more importantly. future pacing. So this is where great salespeople, and this is skill number 12, by the way. This is where great salespeople separate themselves. My nose is so itchy. It's annoying. Skill number 12, future pacing. This is where I just want to really double down on this. If I can future pace people and get them to see a future version of themselves where they're winning, they're going to do it. That's called emotional selling, future pacing, or selling the transformation, or selling the outcome. Anyways, this is where great salespeople separate themselves, right? Take them mentally into the future. What I mean by that, right? Let's imagine it's 12 months from now. You've got 10 bookkeeping clients. You're making $5,000 per month. Walk me through what life looks like. Now they're emotionally living in ownership before they even buy. And people move towards stories and pictures, not facts, right? All right. How do I transfer certainty? Skill number 13, transferring certainty. So they're not buying your services or your product, okay? They're buying your certainty and your delivery and producing for them, okay? So they're buying certainty. So if your tonality or your body language comes across uncertain, well, subconsciously they're picking all of that up and they're destroying you mentally. They're like, I'm not using this idiot. Basically what's happening. So if you're confident, they're confident. The prospect is constantly asking, does this person believe? And if the answer is yes, closing becomes easier, right? All right, the micro commitment ladder. The micro commitment ladder. Big commitments always make people terrified. Got a big deal? Haven't seen results? Haven't worked with you before? Scared. But if I can get these micro commitments throughout the conversation, I'm actually getting them to commit to things. So they've already committed 10 on some small things, saying yes to my big deal. Ain't a problem. It's called psychology. All right? It's called psychology. Look. Hey, can you grab a pen? Hey, can you write this down? Hey, can you calculate that? Can you see how this would work? Can you picture yourself doing that? By the time you ask for the payment, guys, I've already said yes 20 times. Now, do you need some no's in there? Absolutely. I mean, you definitely need no's in your presentation. It can't be all yeses. I mean, there's literal sales studies done about that. Getting more no's than yeses in your conversation, but you still need to have a hybrid, a blend of it, and that's the beauty of sales. You never stop learning, right? So let's go to the very, very final skill. The final skill that I'll leave you with today is selling identity. The greatest salespeople do not sell products. They sell identity. So if I can get really good at, hey, John, you seem like the type of business owner who does things the right way. Am I right? Just identity frame somebody. So you have to understand, you don't sell bookkeeping. You sell becoming the trusted financial advisor. You don't sell tax preparation. You sell becoming the expert clients depend on. You don't sell coaching. You sell becoming the business owner they always wanted to be. Come on. Identity is the deepest form of persuasion. So if I can identity shift someone, they're more inclined to do something. If they believe something, their physical body will rise to the state. It's just how the brain works. So, listen, the final lesson. All right, the final lesson. The best salespeople, they're on YouTube and they're reading the books about psychology. They're understanding human behavior. Just watch my channel. You'll learn all about it. Save you from having to do all that stuff. But you should do it. But you should read the books. But here's the thing. Because every sale is simply psychology happening in real time, all you really have to master are pauses, tone, questions, listening, labeling, future pacing, identity, and emotional intelligence. You'll start hearing things that most salespeople miss, which will be huge, and that's when the sales becomes less about convincing and more about understanding. You have to understand the highest paid coaches in the world aren't talking more, they're just noticing more. So I hope this video truly helps you in your sales game. Good luck. We'll see you in the next one.